and welcome to the Jennifer Diamond channel. If you are new here, my name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-based lifestyle for health and well-being. And I kid you not, it literally gave me my life back. And I know it can help you with yours too. So I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I love sharing with you about how I live and healed through a whole food plant-based lifestyle, through exercise and gardening and just so much more. I really believe living this way can help or heal you as well. So I'd like to just say hello to everyone in the chat. Go ahead and say hello in the chat and tell me where you're tuning in from if we don't know, if you're new here. And of course, if you're watching the replay, you can still comment and ask questions, and I will respond as soon as I can. So let's just say, hey, hello, Mona. Yes, potatoes, you can't go wrong. I totally agree. And I'm excited to share my recipe. Today's live is going to be so much fun because we're going to be cooking together and learning together. Okay, so Mona says, hey, hi there, Jennifer. Yes, I'm so happy to see you here. And anyone else that's interested in hanging out in the chat, please do so. Here is Nan. Time for Peppery, Jennifer, Todd, and Mona. Peppy, not peppery, peppy. But I guess peppery could be kind of peppy. Anyways, Nan, welcome. It's so good to see you as well. So that's funny that I did that. Anyways, today is actually the second day of Hanukkah. So after the sun goes down, then it will be considered the third night. But today is the second day of Hanukkah. So for those of you who celebrate Hanukkah, well, happy Hanukkah. But you don't have to be Jewish or celebrate this holiday to enjoy some of the many delicious recipes and meals that are traditional for Hanukkah this time of year. In fact, what we're going to make here later, these can be eaten year-round, and we tend to make them and freeze them and eat them whenever we feel like it. So if you haven't guessed it yet, we are going to be making latkes in a SOS-free way as an option, which means no salt, no oil, no sugar. And I'm going to share a gluten-free option as well. So after I show you how to make them, I'm going to share what Hanukkah is. Maybe you're not familiar, or why it's celebrated, and some fascinating lesser-known facts about this holiday. So I do want to ask you guys a question. Is anyone familiar with latkes? Have you ever had them? Some people say latkes, some people say latkes. But either way, I'm wondering if anyone has had them. And I see Nan says, okay, peppery works too. Peppy. And I'm glad that that's okay for, with you. So anyways, while you're answering my question, I want to share with you about Hanukkah and why people celebrate it the way that they do. I also want to say that today is not about religion. It's just about sharing and having a great time together. Some really quick background before we begin making our latkes, because we're going to do that very shortly here. Hanukkah is often called the Festival of Lights. It commemorates a historical event, which is important to know, because that's one of the reasons I think that it sometimes is misunderstood. So Hanukkah usually falls in late November or December, and the dates change every year because it follows the Hebrew calendar, which is totally different than our calendar. At its heart, Hanukkah celebrates religious freedom, resilience, identity, and the idea of light during dark times. Okay? And one quick myth buster, Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas. If you've ever heard of that. Hanukkah is a significant yet minor winter holiday in the Jewish calendar that celebrates the miracle of the oil and the rededication of the temple. And it has its own rich history and traditions, which is entirely independent of Christmas. So, religiously, it's considered a minor holiday, but culturally, especially in the Jewish population, it carries a lot of meaning and memory and tradition. So I want to see, is anyone familiar with latkes? Have you ever had them? Let's say Apple. Apple is here. Hi, Apple. Hi, she said. Hi, everyone. Yes, I've had latkes. Awesome, awesome. And Apple 369 says, "Hi, Todd. They're delicious. My uh, my Hobbit tea. Is that what it is? Heart." Huh? Hobbity? Yeah, Hobbity. Heart loves all things taters. And she means potatoes. Potatoes, that's great. Well, I'm so glad. And WFPB, not Lisa is here. Hi, Lisa. We were just asking, is anyone familiar with latkes? Have you ever had them? Yeah, let me know, you guys. So, all right, we are now going to start cooking, and then we'll talk a little bit about the history. So let's see. Okay, I've got all the stuff here, and the first thing that we have to do is begin grating some potatoes. So let me just tell you, these right here are the finished product that I made, and we're going to make some fresh ones together. So I had these out here. I'm going to go ahead and put them aside. And so what I did was so I'm using these potatoes, but you don't have to use these potatoes. These are a smaller russet potato. You can use the Yukon gold potato. You could use any potato you want. And what I like to do is I like to peel the skin. You can leave the skin on if you like it, especially if you're using the Yukon or the thinner ones, but you can certainly leave them, just wash them really well. I like to take it off of the skin. You don't have to throw the skin out. You can do something else with it, like, probably, I don't think you'd have to cook it and probably make it like in the oven a little bit, just kind of like a little potato skin. Season it, put it in the oven. But at any rate, I have already peeled a few of them here, and I have them sitting in water. These two, you could see, are a different color than this one. This one is the russet, the small russet, and these are the Yukon. They're a little bit different in color. Why did I use those? Because I just had them and I wanted to use them up. And so what I did was, you want to take them and peel them. I like to put them in water because they will oxidate and change color. So when we're going to make a small batch today, you and I, but when we do this at our house, we make 5 to 10 pounds at a time. And so having it in the water is really important, because as we get to the end, we already start, even in the water, start seeing it oxidating. Okay, so once you have that here, then you're going to want to take the potatoes out. Let me just take that out. And then you're going to want to grate them. Now, these I already grated. This is a cup's worth. I'm going to be using 2 cups for this shorter recipe. If you want to make more, you can double, you can triple, you can do whatever you want with the recipe. So I already have these shredded. I'm going to go ahead and use this hand grater to shred the last bit. And the reason why is because we're doing a small amount. If you're going to be doing the bigger amount, I urge you to use the food processor. It makes things so much easier. So we peel them, we put them in water, and then when we're ready, we put them through the food processor, take that, and then we dump it back in fresh water. Okay, so there we go. Now, I dumped this water out because we're just going to go ahead and shred these. And I wonder, have you guys ever made them before? I don't know. Yeah, we can show just, shredding just about a cup's worth, and then we'll add it. So we're going to be having 2 cups that we're going to, packed and grated and drained potatoes. And like I mentioned, the peeling is optional. And so as soon as we do that, then we're going to be also I think I'm going to use this one. We're going to start making a flax egg. And I probably should have started making the flax egg first, but I got excited about the potatoes, talking about potatoes. And so I'm just going to go ahead and finish shredding this. Now, in traditional, regular, the recipe originally, you make these in oil. And it has to do with signifying the oil and the lamp and the menorah and those kinds of things that I'll share more about later. But the way that I eat now, I don't cook with oil. So if you are okay cooking a little bit with a plant butter, a plant version, you can certainly do that. And but there are other ways where you don't need either, and that will be the air fryer. You might already see it behind me. So I'm going to show you a few different ways, because not everybody in my family cares for them air fried because they're drier. So we will make some both ways. Okay, let me just put this aside. I've got this little 1 cupper here. I really want to pack it in. I think, yeah, so it's a little bit more than a cup. And that one was slightly under, and you really want to pack it in. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the water. And then we have 1 extra potato that we can make at another time. And let me just get all of this off. Let's see. Do we have Jolie Gale? Hi there. You make them every year. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm wondering if you make them the way that I'm going to be making them. But however you make them, they are a delicious, fun thing to have. Okay, so I'm having this sit in the water for now. I'm going to go ahead and put this in water and just move it out of our way, because we're not going to need this. I got excited and made an extra potato, but do you know what I can do with that one? Of course, we can always make it and eat it, but I might make it just, boil it later and give it to Remy. Remy loves a good potato. So I'm going to just set this aside. You can help me move that. Okay, now, all right. So let's pause on the potatoes for a minute, and then we're just going to go ahead and make a flax egg. What is a flax egg? If you're not familiar, so I take some golden flaxseed. They have the regular brown one. It doesn't matter. You can see the flax if you're not familiar. And a lot of you I know are familiar. And I take for a small amount, I can take a coffee grinder. And that's what I did today. I also can use the Vitamix because I have a dry mix container, but for small amounts, I love the coffee grinder. And I don't know if you want to put a link if anyone's interested. This one's called the Dr. Mills, but any will work. It's an electric coffee grinder, and I use it for things like this. So I ground up the flax seed, and I store it in a little thing here, and I write flaxseed. I like to really make it as I go, because if you grind it up ahead of time, and store it or buy it already done, you kind of lose out on the nutrients. So fresh is better if that's possible. And so anyways, so I have a little bit extra here to show you. And then what I did was I put 1 tablespoon of the ground flaxseed here in this container, and I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water. That is going to make our eggs. So here's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. So that equals 1 flax egg, right? And I'll just use this to mix it. You just want to mix it up. You can see it's very runny. It's liquidy. Look at that. See? And we're just going to give it like 5 minutes while we get the potatoes and other things ready. And it should end up being a little bit more kind of gelled, not gelled, but like an egg. If you cracked an egg and beat it up, and it acts as a binder. So it's really fantastic. So we're going to put that aside. Now, back to the potatoes. We can't cook them in water. Another reason that I like to put them in water and do it this way, besides the oxidation, is because I want to take out some of the starch that's in there. It will bind just fine still. So I personally like to use a clean towel, a clean kitchen towel, and I like to squeeze out all the water, and then I'm ready to go. Now, You don't have to do it in a towel. You can use a nut milk bag or something like that. But putting it in the bag, I don't know. I'd rather just open up the towel and do it. And then I wear rubber gloves. You don't have to do this. I just do this sometimes. And so I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to also see if Todd, because we usually make this together. Sometimes for years, my daughter this has been our thing that we do. And so we also, Todd and I sometimes do this, but it's nice to do it with somebody. Come on in, sweetheart. Say hello to everyone.
Hello to everybody. I'm already donning my gloves.
We have gloves, and you don't have to do the gloves. We just like the gloves.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
Who doesn't like gloves?
I don't know.
It's winter.
So I'm just gonna let you do this thing here.
That thing?
Yeah, and
Okay.
so explain what you do here, and I'm gonna kind of get out of your. I'm gonna switch sides with you.
Okay, so I open up this towel and I just grab a hunk.
A hunk.
And
And
I let
usually
it drain as much as I can, just holding it right.
Yeah, we have an extra bowl if you want, but usually you do this over the sink sometimes.
Yeah, because we don't save the water.
No, you don't want to save the water. So if you want a bowl to put anything in, we can put it in this one, and I can move that little potato somewhere else.
I might grab a chunk and a half, actually. Man, just full. And then I'll just fold it again, and then take these two, pull them up.
The idea is not to let it ooze out of the side or lose your potato pieces.
And then hold the top and just turn it until it gets really tight. And then it does that.
Yeah, and you just want to make sure you get all the water out. Now, if you're here at if you're at a home, you can squeeze this over the sink. You don't have to squeeze it back into the bowl. But because we don't have access to a sink right now, in front of you guys, we're doing it this way. And he's really great at squeezing out all of the water. I'm going to step out of frame for a minute, and then you're going to take the already ready to go, and you're going to put them in this bowl.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So you saw what they looked like when I took them out. Here's what they're going to look like when I put them back. Okay, so nice and dry.
Nice and dry. Yes.
Make sure you get all the potato off the towel.
Yes, and that's a little trick to do.
You know Jennifer, she doesn't waste anything.
That's right. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that
There
from
you
you. Okay, so we need to do
the rest of it?
Yeah, all of it, because we measured it out. It's 2 cups of the potato. Now it looks larger than 2 cups. I will remeasure again, but I think that when I measured it, it was before we put it in the water. And I did notice that and then I had it covered in water before we went live, and I noticed that some of the water was gone. So it's, obviously absorbed into the potato. But this looks really great.
Yep, I think that's about it.
Okay, so we discard this water. You do not want to use this water for anything. And so let me do that. Go for it. You can show them what you're doing again.
Yeah. I'm going to repeat the process. Pretty straightforward.
Oh, I have a little more. Can I put it in your...
Here.
A nice little handful right in there?
Sure, just stick it in there.
Oh, right in there.
Yep.
Ah, okay.
All right. I need that bowl.
Okay. Oh, you were squeezing it back in the other one. No. Did you?
No.
We're just making sure you're on your toes.
I think there may have been like a drop or two that got in there.
Uh-oh. Okay. Don't do that. All right. And Mona says, professional potato squeezing there, Todd.
Thank you.
That is great.
This is not my first rodeo.
And you can really see, because, just that little bit. Look at how much water, so we want to get rid of that. And now I think we're ready to roll. Okay,
so the potatoes are thoroughly squeezed.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm going to keep the gloves on because I'm going to be mixing with my hands. And of course, you don't need to wear the gloves like I had shared before.
There we go.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yay. I appreciate having help. And I'm going to get these little pieces that are on here and just put them in there to save every little thing. And so Apple369 says, we used to save some of the starchy water to use for crafts. Well, that's a good idea. It's good glue and fabric stiffener. Wow. We always made crafts at our family gatherings. I would love it. Yeah, I would love to share like an example of how you would use the starchy water if you can remember any of them or you think of any of them. That's great. So yes, I'm sure there's always something you can repurpose everything with, but we never did that. So we just discarded it. But now you guys know, thanks to Apple 369 sharing, that there is something you can do with the starchy water. Okay, so let's just see. Look at it. It really made a lot more than 2 cups after we did this. Do you see that, Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, I measured it ahead of time. I wonder if I should measure it now. I usually don't. So I'm just going to go, oh, I think I better measure it. Okay. So we're going to do 2 cups of drained potato. So, and where is my bowl? Da, 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 da. Here's an extra bowl. I'm just going to do this. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that it was going to puff up so much. Okay, so here's 1 cup. We're going to put that in here. And normally we do the recipe that we're like, if we're doubling it, we would do 4 cups. But for this recipe, we're doing 2. And then Todd squeezes as we go, you know, so we don't squeeze it all and then do it. I thought this was going to be the perfect amount. But at any rate, now we've got our 2 cups in here. And now we're going to just start adding some things in here and mix it up. So let's see. The other thing that we're going to need is, let's check the flax egg. And I don't know if you could see, but it is definitely thicker. Doesn't that look kind of like an egg yolk? But it's flax, and it's our flax egg. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the flax egg in here. Of course, don't forget, if you are doubling or tripling, or, you know, you're going to adjust and make more of that. Another thing that I have are some onions. Okay, now I take, and I covered this just because my eyes can't take the onion right under it. But I just take a regular onion, I peel off this, and then I grate it the same way that we did shredded, the same way that we did it for the potatoes, even if I'm using the food processor, because usually it just works out that way. And then I measure here. You can see I have the shredded onion, and we have 2 tablespoons of the grated onion. Okay. And then we're going to add to that okay, this is the part where you could go either way. We're going to add the binder. So I have some rolled oats. The reason why I want to do rolled oats is because I want to make this gluten-free. If you want to make it gluten-free, you add rolled oats. And what I did to get the rolled oats like this in a flour is I went ahead and also, because it was a small amount, used this coffee grinder to grind it up. And the amount is, I've got it over here on the side, 1/3 cup, okay? And so I literally measure out 1/3 cup of regular, you know, rolled oats, just like this, and then grind them up. And so I have the powder. Now, if you don't want to, or you don't need to do a gluten-free version, then you can use something called matzo meal. And it comes in this big container, and it's basically wheat flour. And so it definitely contains wheat. This is not gluten-free. And so sometimes in our family, we make different batches because people have different preferences. But I want to show you what this looks like, just so you can see here. Can you see that? You want to do an overhead maybe? It's hard to see in there, but if you want, I can dump it out into a bowl. But it's basically, you know, kind of like granulates, sort of. And so almost not quite breadcrumby, but kind of like a breadcrumb. All right, so we're going to do the rolled oats. So I've already measured that, and I'm going to go ahead and dump that right in here, the whole thing. And that was 1/3 cup. We've already put in the onion, and then we're going to add some plant milk. I'm using soy milk. You can use any plant milk you want. And this is 3 tablespoons of plant milk. We're going to go ahead and add that in there. Let me move some of this. All right. And then we have a few things right here. And this beautiful, beautiful array is some black pepper. We've got the black pepper is anywhere from like an eighth to a fourth of a teaspoon, depending on how you like black pepper. I'm doing a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic granulates, and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. So it's all half a teaspoon, except for the black pepper. Now, if you are going to be using salt, you don't have to use salt. My family tends to like a little bit of salt in it, so you can add a little bit of salt, and that would be a half a teaspoon or less. I like to make my batches without it. I don't need it, but if you want it, go ahead and have it. And so we're going to pour all of that in here, all of that, da, 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 da. Get every last drop that I can. And that is pretty much it for this part. And then we get to have a good time. Get our hands in here, even with gloves, without gloves, whatever. And we just want to mix this really, really well. I always like to play with my food. I think it's so fun. So, yeah. Let's see. Go ahead and read a little bit of what Apple 369 was sharing while I continue to mix this up and get it ready to go.
So Apple was saying use the potato water for crafts, right? And one example of that is to stiffen crochet snowflakes.
Wow, that sounds so
So you
fun.
mix the potato water with cotton batting to make a molding clay.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
I'm sorry, modeling, not molding.
That's okay. I said peppering.
Yeah.
Instead of peppy.
It's just words.
Okay, so you really want it. That's great. Thank you so much, Apple, for sharing that. So we just want to keep doing this until it's nice and blended, mixed well, and that's it. We're going to be ready to shape it and get it cooking. Now, there are different ways that you can cook this. Of course, the traditional way is with oil, which we're not going to be doing. You can deep fry it or cook it in oil, a little bit in a fry pan. I like to do it on the stovetop on a griddle, and with the griddle, I can just leave it plain, but because my family prefers it a little bit with the vegan butter, I actually made vegan butter and we recorded it, and it will be coming out soon. And so you'll have to see how we did that. And it actually is Miyoko's original recipe. So stay tuned for that. Do you know when that might be coming out, honey? Soon. Okay, so whatever that means. So I'm going to make some in the air fryer because I don't want any oil or any butter, and I'm going to make some on the stovetop. So let me go ahead and let's see, I'm going to talk to you about this. Okay, so for the air fryer, you don't have to do this, but I line it with the parchment paper. And the reason why is because it's just easy for cleanup. The thing I learned about using parchment paper in the air fryer is that if you don't get the edges all the way like tucked or have something on it, it can kind of blow. And there was a time when it actually blew from underneath up on top where the where the heating element is, and it could start a fire. So I learned, let's not do that. Okay, so what I do is I just take a small amount in the palm of my hand. You don't want these to be shaped beautifully, perfectly in melon baller shapes or in any kind of mold. The latkes, part of the beauty of them is having them original, kind of like a snowflake, right? There's no one snowflake that's alike. And you can see they're pretty flat. They're pretty thin, and I'm just going to lay them right in here. And now I have made some that are thicker. So just know that if you make them thicker, they're going to take longer to cook inside, and you might find them to be like, not as crispy. So here's another one, see? And I'm just going to fill this, and then we'll do the other pan, and then I'm going to put some on the stove top. So this is great. Look at this. And it's not sticking or anything. It's just beautiful. I'll put 4 in this side. And, so, I mean, if you're making a lot and you're doing a lot in the air fryer, maybe get a different air fryer. That's bigger, but I don't have another option. I know a lot of Breville's have air fryers in them, and my Breville does not. It's an older one, and it doesn't. So there you can see. You want to do an overhead for a second so they could just see how it fits in there. So we've got 4 in there. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here. And then I'm going to, wow, the handle is, I'm going to put a couple in this side. And then, should I keep going on this side? Or should I just go into
It's your show. You can do whatever you like.
All right, I'll just quickly put a couple in here. And so we'll just have a few extra air-fried potatoes.
There you go.
No, they're Latkes. I was seeing if you were listening.
They're air-fried potato Latkes.
Yes. Air-fried potato Latkes. Okay, let me do 2 more here. And there you go. Now, these are really flavorful. That you could use fresh garlic if you wanted to, but I wouldn't take the garlic granulates out. I would add fresh garlic depending on your preference. There we go. All right, you want to show this one? We'll show this one. Let's see. You can see, whoops, All right, so I'm going to put these in here. And now I'm going to go ahead. I need to, here it is. God, my hands are really, really getting crazy here. Okay, I just want to show you that this is the vegan butter. Can you believe this? So you don't have to buy store-bought anymore if you use this. And typically, I don't keep this in the house. This is something that I usually have around the holidays for things like this, for baking holiday cookies, vegan ones with my grandbabies, and just overall, just if anybody wants it for something when they're eating, we usually have it. But this was fun to make. I can't wait for you guys to see how I did this. And so I'm just going to use it over here. So we're going to have the air fryer and that. Let me go ahead. I'm spilling potato all over. I'm going to go ahead and put this fire on. Okay. And I just want to heat the pan up. I usually have this double griddle thing, but I'm not going to use that today because we're not making a huge amount. And I'm just going to continue to do it the same way. Just making these patties here. I think I'm going to scrape a little bit of this vegan butter to put on here for the vegan butter eating people in my family. And then I'm just going to put these down and cook them like you would, pancakes. Now, can you put these in the oven? Yes, you can. You can cook these in the oven, but we're not going to do that. Now, I'm going to show you how when we do make these, we make them ahead of time, and then we end up putting them on the cookie sheet or that baking sheet you see on the side there of the stovetop. And I'll show you how we layer it and how we put it in the freezer so that I can make these way ahead of time if we're doing it for any kind of party or gathering. And then it's just the day that we need it, we take it out, and then we do heat it at that point in the oven. Now, I might take my air fried ones and reheat them very small amount of time in the oven. Back in the air fryer. Speaking of air fry, I better start those. Look at that. See? And this is a really fun way to still enjoy a traditional food around this time without, having any oil. You can have, or very little if you're doing the vegan butter. It is made with oil, but at any rate, you can just know that it's vegan and you can choose to have it or not. So I don't know if there's any questions so far about anything in the chat, Todd?
Jill Caperton's in the house.
Oh, hello, Jill. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. So let's see. So we have a couple left, but I think what I'm going to do is just set it aside. And depending on your pan, right, you can keep going or not. I'm just going to, if I need to use it again, I will. Okay, so wow, look what I did to the handles on these things. Let me just wipe that down really quickly. And then I'm going to start the air fryer. And I'm going to do it on 390 degrees. Okay, air fry. This one is like a match cook, 390. And I'm going to, the timer auto goes to 20 minutes. I'm going to put it to 10, and then we'll check it at 10. It might need more. And so that's going. This is going. Everything is going. This is really exciting. And so let's just take a peek here if you want. You could see, hopefully you could see. Da, 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 da. And that's the flame. It's like a medium flame. You don't want it too hot. And then, you know, when I need to, I might add a little bit more of the vegan butter. But you see, it's really moving around here nicely. And so I'm just going to let it keep cooking for a few minutes. And while it's doing that, we'll keep an eye on it, of course. Maybe what we could do is talk a little bit about some other things. All right. Let me clear this out. Okay, you guys. All right. So let's see. I think we talked about the vegan butter. Yep. And when it's done, we can talk about things that we could top it with. Actually, before we move on, I do want to tell you that some of the things that we traditionally would top it with would be applesauce, which I have here, and sour cream originally is tradition, but this is a vegan sour cream. You can buy it in the store, or you can make it out of cashew nuts and different things. So, or you can skip it altogether. The applesauce, I love to make homemade. You don't have to make it homemade if you don't have time. But what I do, I just want to let you know, is I take 8 apples. I peel them, I slice them, I core them, and I put them in my Instant Pot. I don't weigh them. I just 8 apples. So and I like the Envy apples. Depending on the type of apple you use, it'll be tart or it'll be sweet, whatever. And I put all 8 apples, peeled, cored, sliced, into the Instant Pot with a half a cup of water. That's it. Now, you can get fancy and add cinnamon sticks or cinnamon or lemon or all kinds of things, but wow, these are cooking up pretty quickly. I just like to add water and have a very basic applesauce. And then I close up my Instant Pot and I cook it for 5 minutes on high pressure. And then I do a quick release. That's it. Then I take my, what is this thing? The emulsion blender?
Immersion blender.
Immersion. I don't know why I went blank for a minute. I take the immersion blender and I blend it up, and there you go. I have applesauce. And then what I do is I let it cool completely, and then I can either measure it and freeze some of it and take it out later, or just eat it. So anyways, okay, before we get really crazy, let's just look here and then we'll start talking. I want to just check these. Nope, they're doing nicely. I'm going to just let them do their thing. And that's got a few more minutes. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. I want to start to tell you the story behind Hanukkah, right? And so I'm going to just flip this over so that it's a clean side. Okay, here's a question for you guys. Does anybody know why the menorah has 8 candles? Does anybody know? Let me know. And before I start telling you, I just want to say that Mona Arendt 6384 says, love Envy apples. Yes, aren't they delicious? Oh my goodness, I certainly love them too. Okay, so while you guys are answering that question, you may or may not know, about 200 years before the birth of Christ, the land of Judea was ruled by the Greeks. And Jewish religious practices were actually outlawed, and people were forced to abandon all of their traditions. And this is a quick summary. This is not a detailed thing, but I just kind of wanted to give a little background. So a small group of people known as the Maccabees, they revolted against the oppression, not to conquer, but to preserve their identity and their freedom. And so after their victory, yay, they won, they returned to their temple in Jerusalem to rededicate it, because it had been, vandalized, and all kinds of things were not good there. And so there was a big problem when they got there. Now, first of all, it was dark, and gloomy in there, and they needed to take care of things. So what they noticed was that there was only 1 day's worth of oil left to burn in the menorah that was inside the holy temple. And it was going to take several more days. They didn't know how many days to get enough oil to keep it lit longer than that 1 day. And, traditionally, according to their tradition, about 1 day's worth of oil somehow, by a miracle, lasted for 8 days. And that was long enough for them to get more oil. The idea was for it never to go out, never to burn out. So it was important for them. And that's the miracle at the heart of Hanukkah. And that's why Hanukkah lasts for 8 days, or nights, we should say. It's 8 nights. Each day represents one of the days that the oil lasted. So I would like to show you a menorah and kind of talk a little bit about that. Anything before we do that? You want to read that while I just check on these and see how they're doing?
Sure. So Nan has a question.
Yes.
Don't know if I missed this, as had to mute for several minutes, but what about making this with sweet potatoes, the orange variety, or better, or others better, or stick with non-sweet?
So you can use any potato you want, but it will change the flavor, and it will give it a sweeter flavor. I would say do whatever you want, but I think if I were going to do that, I might mix the sweet potato with the white potato. I also believe, because I always like to, see the beauty in things, that the color of the two would be really pretty. And I bet that would be absolutely delicious. And you certainly can do that. Just do it the same way. I would not include the skin. If you did include the skin, I would want to know how that turned out. I don't know that I've ever done it with the skin. So that's the only thing I would wonder about. Let me just take a quick peek. And these are doing their thing. Okay. And so I think this is going to need more than the 10 minutes. I just want to show everybody. Could we show an overhead? See, it's coming along, but it might need a little more time. And so I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to add another 5 minutes to this. And these guys are doing okay here. And it doesn't take this long normally, but I really have the flame on low, low, low because I wanted to be over here with you guys. Okay, so I was going to get menorahs. So let's see. Is this camera showing it? So this is on the right side. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you that one. I'm going to show you this one. Da, 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 da. And I'm going to show you some of these guys here. Okay, so, oh my gosh, this is really bright. Oh. Okay, so the original menorah, okay, well, I'll just tell you why I have this one is for a little child's one. And there's a little button here, and you push it, and it goes for each night. It lights it up. So we just had it like that. So that's how this one is lit up. Oh, wait, hold on. I always do that. Okay, so, and this one needs to go, is this facing the right way for the camera? Okay. So these are Hanukkah candles, and they come in all different shapes and different, sizes and just all kinds of things. And so, and this is a menorah, and the original menorah used in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, it had 7 oil lamps. A design commanded in the Bible, the book of Exodus, representing the 7 days of creation and divine light. While the 9-branched menorah used for Hanukkah celebrates the miracle of the oil that lasted 8 days, plus this helper candle, which is called the shamus. Now, we have a book over there. Can you pass me the book? And I'll just show the picture on the book that shows the, here it is. Here's a book that shows the 7 candles. And so you can see what it was looked like originally. And now we've got 4 on each side and 1 in the middle. So that's the 8 days plus the shamus or the helper candle. Okay, so so the candles are lit after sunset, right? But you don't light them all every single night. Instead of lighting all the candles at once, you add 1 more each night. So on the first night, you would just have this one here and the helper candle, the shamus. Okay, why do we include the shamus? Because that's what we use to light the other ones. So, we would light like this, and then you would put this back here, okay? So, and you would start the furthest one to the right, and then you go each day. So the first day you have this one to the right, next night 2, next night 3, and so on, okay? And although it's the second night, tonight is the 3rd night, so I'll pretend that we're now adding the 3rd one in. Okay, and so and then you just keep progressing and so on until the 8th night, and that's the one night that you're lighting all the candles at the same time. The symbolism is also powerful. We don't diminish light. We add to it. So anyways, let's see. Does anyone know why there are 8 candles in the menorah? Did anyone say anything about that, Todd? Let's see. No. Okay.
Although Mona gave me some props for my perfection of incoming product. Into frame.
Okay. Well, you want to share about that?
I just mentioned that it's all about creating dramatic excitement.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn these up just a hair, and I'm going to check these while we're taking a pause. Oh, these are looking really good. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Let's take a minute and just show how the air fry ones are coming along. And I am just going to temporarily move this out of the way. Look at that, you guys. See how they're looking nice and crispy. And I like to turn them over. You don't have to, or at least check it. So I'm going to just take them out carefully, not to burn my hand. This is hot. And I just want to see how they look on the back side. Oh my goodness, look. And they're hot. Yes, they are. So maybe you don't need to do it the way that I'm doing it, but you could see how they're looking. And I'm going to put it back in just for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And I think these are good. So let me flip those over and put them back in here. Of course, if you do it, maybe do it with a tong or something so you don't burn your hand. Air fry, no oil. Here's the other one. Look at this. Look at this. Looks so, so good. See how this curled up? That's what I kind of wish I didn't, could get it to stop doing that. Okay, hold on. I used to be really good at multitasking. Not always anymore. Okay, so I flipped that over. Let me add it back in here, and then just a couple more minutes, and these guys are going to be ready. Ah, so fun and yummy. Smells good in here. Okay, so I'm going to start that again, and then I'm just going to check these guys. And yep, they're doing good. I'm turning the heat up just a hair because they are really taking. I was so careful with the flame. So, okay, then we're going to put this back here because this is where we were talking. Okay, so we talked about, does anyone know why there are 8 candles? And
Apple knew.
And Apple knew? I didn't answer right away so that others could answer, but I'm always too quick to answer, and I want to change that. Well, you know what? I appreciate that because that's how long the oil burned, 8 nights. Yes, you are right. And if you didn't know that, now you do know that. Okay. And so I also, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, Todd wanted me to read this one from Apple 369. A long time ago, 40 years, I was a live-in nanny with an Orthodox Jewish family. It was a fabulous experience. Wow. I bet that would be a fabulous experience. You get to experience all kinds of things. That's what's so great about learning about different cultures, different religions, travel. I think travel too. These are just almost ready to flip over. I'm going to just let them, and I know I shouldn't be using my fingers, and I wouldn't, but I am. If that makes any sense. Like if I was serving company, I would use the tongue correctly, but I'm trying to rush. Anyways, okay, so here are a few things that many people don't know. Maybe you know. I don't know if you know. Tell me. But Hanukkah is mentioned in historical texts, okay, not in the Torah. And different Jewish communities celebrate Hanukkah differently, like especially when it comes to food, right? So, and those traditions evolved over time, particularly as Jewish communities spread throughout Europe and the Middle East, and even beyond that. So let's talk a little bit about Jewish food, Jewish foods that are common at this time of year, right? So oil-based foods are symbolic because of the miracle of the candle being lit for the 8 days with only 1 day worth of oil, which we talked about. And so latkes or latke potato pancakes are most common in like Eastern European Jewish communities, right? Now, by contrast, let me just check these. Okay, I'm going to start flipping these over. Oh, there's our air fry. Do you want to overhead this? I know I'm in the middle of sharing, and then I just felt like I needed to check this. This one isn't really ready. But do you see how they're nice and they're golden? They're starting to golden brown up a little bit here. And you could go even more so than what it is. But there you can see how it's coming along. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the traditions, including food, develop differently from Eastern European Jewish communities. That's why Hanukkah foods can vary so much across the different cultures. And a fun fact would be that potatoes weren't always the base for latkes. Before potatoes became common, early latkes were made from, do you know? Cheese or grains like buckwheat or rye and other vegetables they used like turnips or carrots, depending on the region. So with cheese latkes or cheese pancakes being prominent in Italy and the flour like grain versions common in Eastern Europe before potatoes arrived in the Americas. Isn't that cool? So you may see Hanukkah spelled many different ways as well. Like Hanukkah can be spelled Hanukkah. That's one way. Another one is Chanukah. Just a little bit of variation. And I'm sure there are a lot more ways, but why is that? That's because it's a Hebrew word meaning dedication. And there's no single perfect English spelling or translation. So there's some variation there. You may have heard or seen that people who celebrate Hanukkah give or receive a gift during each of the 8 nights. But gifts weren't always a big part of Hanukkah. And when they were given, then they were usually like small and symbolic. Traditional gifts often include gelt coins, which we're going to talk about, or chocolate gelt coins, dreidels, books, small amounts of money or even a little bit of candy to the children, right? And then they like to do a lot of giving to charity, or tzedakah. I always say that wrong. Do you know how to say that? Tzedakah, okay, which is part of the charity. It was also an important tradition to do that. And if I said that incorrectly, I apologize. So over time, especially in the United States, gift giving expanded due to cultural influences from Christmas, right? So even so, the core of Hanukkah has always been lighting the menorah, sharing food that's cooked in oil, but we don't have to anymore, and spending time together, spending time with the people that you love and care about. And there are a lot of games that are played during Hanukkah. Now, games like dreidel, which I'm going to show you some dreidel. They weren't just for fun. They carried deep meaning that was tied to survival and resilience, because during a time when Jewish learning was outlawed, there was a time children are said to have used these spinning tops as a cover, right? Pretending to play a game if the soldiers appeared. And then over time, the dreidel just became part of a tradition with Hebrew letters added to represent the phrase, a great miracle happened here. And so let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, let me just check these really quick. I want to show you some dreidel stuff. These look great. These look really good. We could take these off anytime. Well, maybe just keep that side a little bit. And I hardly used any of this vegan butter, but I know my family would probably like a little on the back side, so I will add it. But again, you don't need it. You really don't. But I know that they'll be eating these, and so I want to make sure that they like what I'm making. Okay, so let me just bring this little tray over here. This little tray. Okay, so do you want to put that overhead for just a minute? I just want to show what we have here. Okay, so let me move this over. So this is a dreidel, and I've got the how to read a dreidel instructions here that I'll show you in a minute. But this is a dreidel. Okay, it's a dreidel. Let me see if you could see that. And it spins. It's like a spinning top. Okay, so there are different kinds of dreidels. You want me to spin it? Oh, okay. So I'm going to spin it though. So okay, and so it has a symbol on it, and this one says none. And I'll tell you how to play this in a minute, but there are different ones. So these are fun for little kids. They light up, they're different colors. You can, whoops, I'm not good at spinning this. See, so, and then there's these kind here. So there's all different kinds, but what is common with all of them is that they have these little symbols on them. Let me just see the little symbols. These are a darker color so you can see. And according to my little cheat sheet here, it tells me how to read the dreidel. So here are like some of the symbols here. Those I'm going to have to match with what's on what I spun. And then, so this one is none. It says none up here. It says none right here. And then it just says, the translation of it means miracle. And when you're playing the game, because this is a game, it says do nothing. So what happens is you can use chocolate gelt, which look like little coins. You don't have to use chocolate gelt. I got these at the store. These are not the traditional gelt. These are just coins. We couldn't find the ones. Usually they come in a blue, covered cover. What is this?
Net.
No, not the net. Like the aluminum on it. It's usually blue, and it usually has a menorah on it. Now, everybody gets however much coins, chocolate coins you want, and then you sit at a table and you take turns, right? You can decide who's going to go first based on what you roll or based on age. And so you would spin this. Everybody puts one coin, if you agree on one coin, in the center. The first person spins the dreidel. We look up, okay, what did you get? Oh, I got Gimel, which is this other one, right? And then what do you do with that? Well, it means great, and you get all the coins. It's kind of like gambling. So you get all the coins in the middle. And so the next round, everybody puts a coin in and you keep going. And the 4 choices are none, which means miracle, do nothing, we said. Gimel, which we just said means great, and you get all of it. Hey, which is another one, that means happened, and you get to take half of the coins. And then the last one is shin, which means there, and that means share. So you don't get it, you add one of your tokens, so you kind of lose one. And so that's really cool. And what I want to do, Todd, would you go in the freezer and get the gelt that I made? That I made some homemade gelt. I just want to show you that if you didn't want the store-bought and you wanted to make some, you can make some. And that's what I have done here. And I just had them in the freezer. And so thank you, sweetheart. So I bought this silicone little mat here, and it's got all these little circles in it, just really simple. And then I just took, you can do the Enjoy Life vegan chips. I like these dark chocolate chips that are made. They're called Just Date. They're date sweetened. And I just take it in a bowl. You could do it in the microwave, do 30 seconds in a microwave safe container, and then just until it's melted, or you can do it in a double burner over the stovetop. And then I just literally poured it in and let it freeze. And what you can do is you just take them out. Look at that. Look at that. It's kind of a thick one. And what I like to do is take some of the, make my own wrapping, right? Sometimes it's fun to do with the grandkids. Now, I don't like aluminum foil touching my food, so I might take a piece of parchment paper and wrap it in the parchment paper first, and then cut some aluminum foil into squares, which I didn't do here, but you can do it nicer than what I'm doing for this quick demonstration. And then just wrap it up. Let's see, I'm going to do it this way. Wrap it up. And you could do it a lot nicer than I'm doing here. Sometimes we make it so that it just meets in the middle, and then we take a sticker and we put the sticker on top. This is kind of not really neat, and I would redo this, but then you can start passing these out, and then you have one that's date sweetened if you're okay with that, or you could do the store-bought ones. Okay, I'm going to hand this back to you. Thank you so much. Okay, all right, so I thought that would be fun to share. Mona says, are you in charge of wrapping those, Todd?
That has not yet been determined.
Usually our daughter does it, and with some of the grandkids, and brings it over, but
I would imagine the process would look like wrap one, eat one, wrap one, eat one.
Oh, if you did it. But sometimes they're too busy, and so we will probably do it. Okay, so let's see. So, going back to dreidel, yeah, this is all done. I'm going to turn this off, and these are done, and we'll just let them sit here while we talk, and then we will taste them and show everyone. Wow, these are looking so good. I might actually, okay, you know what? I'm taking a break for a second from talking. Chatty me. I'm going to move this aside. So after we make these, I just want to share, after we make these, what I like to do is take them and, bring them over on a sheet like this. I have the parchment paper, and then we just put them on here like this, and we fill the whole entire tray. And if the tray is a gluten-free tray, no oil or air fried, we take a little piece of tape. Todd is in charge of that usually, and he'll write, what do you write?
I write gluten-free.
Or what did you write? Yeah, gluten-free.
Oil-free, or whatever you tell me to write.
Whatever it is. And then we fill that tray up, that layer. Okay, so let's say we have all of these filled, and then we take another piece of parchment paper, put it on top when it cools, and do another layer, and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until we have 10 pounds worth. We usually can do it in one tray. Sometimes we do two. Then the top layer, we put an additional piece of parchment paper, and then the aluminum foil. And when it is nice and cool, that's when we wrap it, and then we put it in the oven. when it's time to take it out, we take each layer of the parchment paper, right? We take the top tinfoil off, we take the top parchment paper off, and then you'll see your first layer. We take another one of these cookie sheets, and we just move this whole thing and slide it onto that one, and that one goes in the oven. So these are still ready to go, and we just keep rotating. So that's how we do it. But if you're just going to make them and eat them, you don't need that step. Okay, so anyways, just finishing up with the dreidel, what looks like a simple game today is really a way that the story of perseverance, faith, and identity has been passed down through all the generations. So through play and even through difficult times. And so, you know, making latkes, it's important. And why I think this food matters and why in general it's known to matter is because latkes are an important part of the holiday, because food can trigger a memory, right? Food is culture. Food is, well, latkes are a bridge between generations, between cultures, between past and present. And today's latkes can be done a little bit differently, and it's still okay, right? We did it. We cooked it in a pan. We did the air fryer, or even made in a more modern, oil-free, plant-based way, like we've been doing here. Just the traditions evolve, and I feel like that's okay. So, anyways, Hanukkah's deeper themes. We'll just talk for briefly. Like, Hanukkah carries themes that resonate far beyond one culture. Standing in your identity, or finding light in dark times, believing small acts can create lasting change, choosing resilience without domination. So these ideas are universal. And yeah, so I just want to say, does anyone have any questions about anything before we decide to taste the latkes and applesauce? And we talked already about the sour cream. Anybody? Okay, so while I think what I'm going to do is set that up, and we'll make some to taste, and then hopefully Todd will join in that. I'm going to do an air fried one, and I'm going to give him the other one. So let me just pick which air fry. I'm going to go with these. Gosh, these look good. Look at that. Look at that. I should take these out and put them. I want to put them on their own sheet, but do you want to let people see this? And then I'll put the other one on. So these are done. These look really great. Here's the air fried one. Okay. And so I'm going to use our little latke spatula. Look at that. It says latke. And I'm going to get this beautiful looking one for Todd. And we can share a plate. I'm going to go ahead and put the applesauce on it. So
I'm sorry, did you say share a plate?
The plate, not the latke.
So
I'm going to do the air fried.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay, so should I make it for you? Want to make your own?
No, just go ahead and do what you're going to do.
Okay, so you would just put a little applesauce on there. Put a little if you want, whatever you like. And I don't want to mix that, so I'm going to get another spoon. And then if you do sour cream, this isn't real sour cream, but if you wanted to do the plant-based sour cream, you put a little bit of that. I'll do it on mine. Now, I don't know if you're a big fan of this, so,
I'm not.
So you're going to do it without it. And you could do it however you want. You can cut these, but we just like to use our fingers and grab
this
hold.
whole thing in my mouth.
And I just want everyone to see. I just want you to see. Let's see. We should put it on the plate. How it looks. Great. Okay, ready? Set. Those came out good.
How many did you make?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could even eat these without anything on them. And, wow, really good. Now, how do you think the flavor is?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah. because I think it's this one came out kind of mild. Sometimes they come out a little stronger.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, I think, so many things, right? So how much moisture is in the onion depends on how much onion taste flavor you get. These I think are pretty well balanced.
And it's not tradition, but you could spice them up if you like spice, right?
Absolutely, you can
Do whatever you want with them.
You can make them however you choose.
Yeah. So let's just see if there's any comments here. Let's see. Mona says, "Oh, that's what I was thinking. She's talking." Okay. Where is it? Oh, I am Apple 369. I really enjoy these big food productions that happen during celebration times. Yes. Oh, so do I. Thank you for sharing that. I really think that it's important, and it's fun, and it keeps us together and talking and sharing and getting away from screens and all the stuff that we have nowadays. So yeah, I just want to say Hanukkah is about celebrating your identity. He's grabbing another one. You can take whatever you want. Do you want some more applesauce?
No, I'm good.
Okay, it's about celebrating your identity, your heritage, culture, and values, right? And when we share traditions, we build understanding and connection. And when we share food, we build connection and understanding. So, food is one of the most universal languages that we have. And I hope that today's live encourages you to try something new if this is something new to you, or try something else that's new if this isn't new to you. Maybe learn about another culture, right? Ask questions with curiosity and respect, and really just enjoy the season with gratitude. And I say that, you should do this, but it's really me reminding myself that that's what I want to do, and you're welcome to do it with me if you'd like. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in today and sharing some cooking and learning with me. Oh, and I also want to tell you that I will be having a special bonus live with Dr. Michael Greger this Thursday at 2:10 p.m. Arizona time, which is 4:10 Eastern Standard Time. And it's I'm just so excited to have him on the show. I hope that you can join us, and if not, it will play again as a replay. So tune in if you can. And don't forget, you guys, don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. Peace, love, and Latkes. Happy Hanukkah. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time. I'm so grateful that you were here. Bye-bye.